Hello, hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for listening in once again. This is Josh Belk, and it's the Belk on Business podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about planning the path forward. Most businesses experience the pain points that come in an ever-changing, fast-paced economy. We talked about in a previous podcast kind of a lot of the changes or some of the changes that a business may experience and some ways that we may want to handle that. But every business goes through times, and it go beyond just market cycles, and maybe just within a particular business cycle where things become a little bit more difficult. Things may become kind of a little bit, hey, where are we at? Where are we going? And a business not in motion will eventually become stale and will find itself irrelevant and probably out of business together. So a business that doesn't change, that isn't innovating, that isn't progressing, will find itself in a place where it's probably going to be out of business altogether. All businesses should have a few different things in place as it goes through and it looks where are we going to go moving forward or planning that path forward. First of all is a vision, what I'm going to call here a vision casting board, and I've heard this term in other places, but a vision casting board. And what this is essentially this is going to outline your vision for your business over the next 3 to 5 years. So a business, a lot of businesses, and I'll mention it here in just a minute, well, they have quarterly goals. And I'm in a mastermind, for example, and we get together and we say, okay, here are what our goals are going to be, and each individual business owner will kind of define what their goals are going to be over that next quarter. But all business owners should be looking in a lot longer of a term. So looking at the 3 to 5 year time frame and trying to determine where do we want to be, who do we want to be, and what do we want to have and create in the next 3 to 5 years. And essentially, this will be the foundation for the other plans that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. So this vision casting board will essentially be a 3 to 5 year plan that you're going to build your other plans upon. And so this will be the foundation of the strategic plan, which I'll mention here in just a moment. And along with the strategic plan, we'll determine the culture of the business and the value that you plan on bringing to your business. So before you get started into developing all these other tools into your business, you want to kind of understand, hey, here's where we're wanting to go. Because then you're able to, at that point, determine, okay, what type of a culture do I need? What type of employees do I need? And what types of clientele am I going to want to pursue? So this is taking the vision for the company and visualizing it for the leadership team. So it's not just simply outlining it, but also taking it and creating a visual. And it's something you're going to want to keep in front of the business owners, in front of your leadership team. Secondly is the strategic plan. So we have this 3 to 5 year vision casting board or 3 to 5 year vision plan that you're going to put together. And then you're going to go and move backwards from that. And you're going to break it down into smaller components. So you're going to have the strategic plan. And a strategic plan is a one-page plan used to build a consensus within your business. It establishes priorities, assigns responsible parties with due dates. So you can see it gets a little bit more process-oriented here. So we're going to break that 3 to 5 year vision plan down into a 1 year element, into a 1 year component. And within that, we're going to say, okay, here are the things we're going to do over the next year. This is who's going to be responsible for each aspect of it, and then we're going to keep it in front of the people. So everybody understands internally who is responsible for what. And they also have a very visual component in front of them as to this is where we're wanting to go, and this is why we're wanting to go there. So that strategic plan. So it's a one-page plan used to build consensus, establish priorities. So it's not just going to say who's responsible for what, but where in the pecking order of priorities does this particular task fall. And we'll assign the responsible parties with due dates. So it's actually saying, okay, these are the things we want to get done in this time frame. And this gets updated at least annually. So if you're going through and you see that something needs to be changed in that plan, you may tweak it. But for the most part, it's going to be there and it's something you are going to keep in place. And then the next step from there would be establishing your quarterly goals. So you're going to, so each quarter you're going to analyze, okay, what are some subset items that I need to look at to be able to make sure that we continue moving toward this 1 year strategic plan and to eventually get us to meeting the goals of our 3 to 5 year plan. So you have a vision casting board or a vision plan, it's a 3 to 5 year plan. You have a strategic plan, that's about a 1 year plan. And within that, you have your quarterly goals to get you to that strategic plan. And then lastly, the last plan, or what I'm going to call a roadmap here, is our infrastructure roadmap. I've heard other in other things that I've read and I've heard, it talks about an IT roadmap, but I think it needs to be a little bit broader than that, but an infrastructure roadmap. So who is responsible and accountable for each component of the plan? And this may include such elements as an IT roadmap or just a broader innovation roadmap. So this may include aspects of our social media. This may include aspects of different of kind of determining we're going to bring in different types of consultants to make our business a little bit more cutting edge. You bring in employees that may do that can come in and help us be able to structure our business in a way that gets us in front of the people, gets our ideas that we have in front of the people, and also helps us to develop those into make sure that we have the quarterly goals and the strategic plan that's in place. So the who within the business is a more important part of each of the roadmaps. So you can have a great plan, but if you have good people there to implement it, the people with the skill set that's needed, the people with the attitude that fits the culture of the business, you're never going to get to where you want to be. So the who determines where the resources will be allocated and also assigns accountability within a business. So we talk about three elements here as far as planning a path forward in a business: a vision casting board or a vision plan, a strategic plan, and then also an infrastructure plan or an infrastructure roadmap. So continuous improvement, moving that path forward in a business, does require balance. So we need to have that strong foundational structure in a business. So the business owner isn't constantly just kind of jerking that steering wheel, constantly making changes, but has some balance, has some steadiness, a strong infrastructure to the business. Also, there's a good vision, a good solid vision that everybody understands that as far as this is where we're going. Business needs good discipline as well. So it needs to be very disciplined. It needs to understand where it's at financially. It needs to understand this is why we're going where we're going. And then lastly, and it's always true that most businesses will rise and fail on the leadership skills of the owner and how effective are they in communicating and also implementing. Hopefully this brought you some value. Once again, this is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business podcast. Have a wonderful day.